A key point in campaign 2020 is set to unfold in just a matter of hours tonight. The one and only vice presidential debate is being held at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City.
CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell joins us live from Washington, D.C. Norah, good evening to you. Just how high are these stakes for each of these candidates tonight?
Good evening. You're right. It is literally the one and only vice presidential debate, and I actually think it's the most consequential vice presidential debate in history. Why? Because both Mike Pence and Kamala Harris are a heartbeat away from the presidency. Joe Biden, 77 years old, President Trump, 74 years old, and of course, President Trump now suffering from coronavirus at the White House. But today, he might have just upstaged his own vice president by that news of him returning to the Oval Office. But look, this debate, I think, is going to be really interesting because Mike Pence has been the leader of the White House coronavirus task force. And look for Senator Kamala Harris, who's a former prosecutor, to really take the case to the American people that Mike Pence and Donald Trump have done a horrible job, in her words, likely tonight, in terms of taking care of the country when it comes to coronavirus, but also keeping the White House and White House staffers safe from coronavirus. We've now got more than 20 staffers or people connected to the White House who have been diagnosed with coronavirus. So I think that's just one of the issues that will be, but I think it's going to be the central issue tonight as Kamala Harris really tries to put Mike Pence on the defensive.
And Nora, with the vice president's exposure to the president, speaking of coronavirus, there've got to be some safety precautions in place tonight. What about that?
That's right. You'd think that the two of them would be showing up in hazmat suits for this debate, but they're not. Given the vice president has said that he has repeatedly tested negative, including again this morning, as well as with his family, despite his repeated exposure to the president and other staffers last week before that diagnosis. But look, the Cleveland Clinic has been helping the Commission on Presidential Debates, so they are requiring everybody to have their temperature taken, everybody to have a COVID test, a negative COVID test, that they are mandated to wear masks inside. That's a little bit, they're going to be stricter this time than the presidential debate, that if any family members take off their masks, they say they will kick them out. And of course, there are questions about the type of filters, and we are told that they have these special filters that are recommended that can filter out small particles of a virus. So they are promising a safe debate tonight.
What would have been so hard about doing it on Zoom, Nora? You got to wonder.
Well, it's been done. I mean, historically, there was an old, Nixon debate that was done, on two different sides of the country. And we may have a Zoom debate for the presidential candidates coming up because there's still two more of those. But it's a good question. There's a lot at stake. And I'll just add one more thing, because we really have seen the presidential race shift in the last week. There are now two national polls that show Joe Biden leading by double digits. And undergirding that shift is seniors. President Trump won the senior vote by 7 points in 2016. Joe Biden is now winning the senior vote by 20 points. So, and I think coronavirus is a big part of this, and the economy. So look for Mike Pence to try and make that message towards senior voters, suburban women, as they recognize that they are really suffering within the polls and are worried about a defeat on Election Day.
All right, Nora, thank you, and certainly hope to have more substance tonight rather than what we saw last week. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. And by the way, you can watch the debate starting at 9 o'clock right here on CBS 2. We'll be right back.